Today marks exactly 30 days after Pope Leo XIV left Cameroon. Pope Leo XIV had 4 days visit in Cameroon, and one of his key messages was to look into it that the Anglophone crisis is resolved. But 14 days after Pope Leo XIV left, nothing changed. 15 days, nothing changed. And today, 18th of May 2026, it is exactly 30 days since Pope Leo XIV left Cameroon. The Anglophone crisis has not changed. Corruption has not changed. The state of the economy has not changed. What really did the visit of Pope Leo XIV achieve in Cameroon from the perspective of social issues? Now, in the northwest region, people are being killed on a regular basis. The armed fighters and the government forces are engaging in heavy battles, either from Biya division to Menchum division to Ndonga Mantum division to Bamenda itself, and also to Njinikom, move right up to Kikaikilaikom, and also you move to the respective areas of the northwest region of Cameroon. From when Pope Leo XIV left Cameroon, immediately the next day, there was a serious gun battle and some individuals were unalived. 30 days after, has that peace returned to the restive region of Cameroon? The Pope landed in Yaoundé. Yaoundé is Cameroon's political capital, and it is a heartbeat of the nation when it comes to political decision. His message in Bamenda was different from the message in Yaoundé. In Yaoundé, the Pope knew very well that the head of state need to listen to him, and so he brought up the Anglophone crisis. In the Pope's message discussing in Cameroon's political capital, he said peace cannot be decreed. Peace is not a slogan. You cannot take away arms from people and peace will just come. That peace is worked for, and that the people of the northwest and the southwest, which is former West Cameroon, former Southern Cameroon, now what the armed fighters describe as Ambazonian, that you cannot bring peace in this area simply by decreeing, but you have to sit together with all stakeholders to resolve this conflict. The Pope went to Bamenda. He listened to testimonies of people. He listened to the cries of those affected, and he promised that peace will return to the restive region. In Bamenda, the Pope was accompanied by one of Cameroon's hardline ministers, Paul Atanganji, who from the beginning of the Anglophone crisis have denied the existence of the Anglophone crisis, until Cameroon's president, Paul Biya, decided to acknowledge the existence of the Anglophone crisis. Then he changed his stand. Yes, then there's an Anglophone crisis. In all what transpired in Bamenda, the Pope actually sent out a dove for peace and listened keenly to authorities in the northwest region who live the daily realities of the armed conflict. The bishop of the Bamenda Ecclesiastic Province, the Archbishop Andrew Fayunkea, who coincidentally is the president of the National Episcopal Conference in Cameroon, came out and said, "Most Holy Father, people are suffering. For 9 years, the people of the northwest and southwest region have not known peace." And this is a speech that he had never used in that kind of a manner to address government officials. Some say it was not his place, or it is not his place to address government officials. That yes, it is his place to address the Most Holy Father, because the Most Holy Father is his immediate boss. And he said there is nothing as Catholic priest, Pentecostal peace, Islamic peace, that what the people from the northwest and the southwest need is peace and dialogue. You see, when the Pope left, he went to Douala. He had a conversation with the people of Douala. It was a different message. This time was all about the economy and the young people of Cameroon and the fight against corruption and the fight against deviant behavior. The Pope rounded up his visit with a pontifical mass in Yaoundé. This time the head of state, Cameroon's president, was again in the mass. Now, the Pope left Cameroon. The question is, what has been the state of the Anglophone crisis? Has anything changed? The answer is 2-letter word. No, nothing has changed from the Anglophone crisis, from when the Pope stepped his leg into Cameroon and from when he left Cameroon, and 30 days down the lane, nothing has changed. There was a killing in the southwest region. 2 soldiers have been killed in Moyuka. They were killed today, May 18, 2026. These 2 soldiers were killed in Moyuka, chief town. Moyuka is a chief town of Moyuka subdivision in the southwest region, in Fakot division, and the southwest region of Cameroon. The southwest and the northwest region make up what is called the West Cameroon. The West Cameroon make up what is called the former Southern Cameroon, which the president of Cameroon in 2014, while celebrating the 50th anniversary of Cameroon reunification, Paul Biya, in the southwest region at the Independence Square of Biya, known as Bongo Square, said history has it that Biya was once the capital of British Southern Cameroon or Southern Cameroon, which means he accepts and acknowledges that yes, there was a state called Southern Cameroon. However, there was a unity state that was made into existence in 1972 referendum, abolishing the federal structure by President Amalu Ahijo, bringing together, amalgamating the Anglophones with the Francophone. But that experiment seemed to have failed because even President Paul Biya, while talking with Mo Ibrahim in a Paris Peace Conference, that was in 2019, between 2019, made it clear that unavailable possibility de l'integration n'a pas marché, which means they wanted to assimilate the Anglophone. It did not work. And as I'm talking to you, more than 6,000 people have been killed, documented, and more are uncounted for, and thousands have been displaced internally. More than 300 villages have been destroyed, burned down, either by the military or by separatist fighters, and there have been massive unaliving of civilians in some areas. And there have been several moments where unarmed children have been unalived. A case in hand was Valentine's Day massacre in Gabon in 2019 in Gabon, where more than 21 people were unalived, including 11 children and a pregnant woman. You have another case, Mother Francisca massacre. You have the case in Moyuka, the kill of baby Mata, Chongwai Karolis in the southwest region. You have other cases that have occurred, like in the Ziranium. You have the Pini massacre. The Pini massacre is even controversial because some people are saying that that massacre needs to be investigated. And there have been several killings which has resonated public outcry, which the government itself has seen. And even the armed separatist fighters themselves, there have been moments where they have been fighting among themselves, killing each other. The situation in the northwest and southwest region in Cameroon is very precarious, and the state of Cameroon needs to do more. However, Pope Leo XIV brought something different. With the visiting of Pope Leo XIV, international media got to talk about the crisis in the northwest region, got to explain again the crisis, expose it to the international community. But the question is, what has the international community done as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned? The international community has only been talking and talking as they know what to do, and that is what they do best. Talking and no effective resolution, either sanctions from hardliners within the government or from separatist fighters who are there carrying out atrocities. The truth here is both separatist fighters and the armed fighters both separatist fighters and Cameroon military at some point have committed crimes against humanity. Both sides are guilty of crimes against humanity. Now, the international community have failed woefully in passing out resolution sanctions to officials to resolve this conflict. Each day never goes by without people being killed in the northwest, in the southwest region, directly by guns. Not to talk of those who are being unalived by the actions of sit-at-home strike, which is called the ghost town every Monday, or the lockdown, or because facilities have been destroyed, or because they don't have food, because their crops have been destroyed, or because their people have been kidnapped. You add all of this in 366 days a year, you multiply that, you can have an overview of those probably who have been killed as a result of the conflict in the northwest and the southwest region. Internationally, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has come to Cameroon. And when he came to Cameroon, many Cameroonians expected the UN Security Council to go and discuss this and have a resolution passed, forcing the government and the armed fighters, all those involved, to come in contact and have a genuine dialogue. Yes, the government organized a grand measure national dialogue in 2019, 30th of September 2019. That ran right up to the 4th of October 2019. The grand measure national dialogue, several personalities have faulted the government that it was more of a monologue than dialogue. These are key personalities who attended the grand measure national dialogue. Among them is the chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Ni John Fundi of blessed memory. You have President Congo Bala Felix. You have also also in the person of Professor Willibrod Zingwa, an internationally known negotiator and a conflict expert, who made it clear that all what was discussed at the national dialogue was a monologue and has failed in addressing the issue which the government is talking about, the provision of a special status. Special status accorded. The people in the field have not felt the change. They don't even know why the special status. It has instead helped to create more confusion than actually bringing to the limelight the reality. The special status has failed because the people don't feel the impact. Even Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, who is someone who was popular in Cameroon, a social entrepreneur, was part of the dialogue, made it clear that the dialogue has failed. In now looking at this October 2026 will clock 10 years since the Anglophone crisis started. What has changed since the Pope visit? All top-ranking officials have visited. No changes. African Union Commission Chairperson Musa Faki there visited. No changes. The Francophonie, no changes. Commonwealth Party of Scotland, no changes. UN Security Council, UN Security Secretary General Antonio Guterres, no changes. The Grand Order of Malta visited. He cried when he was landing in Cameroon. No changes. And now the final boss of spirituality from the Christian perspective, he himself now visited Pope Leo XIV 30 days after. No changes. So you see, the question is, why are Cameroonian authorities and the separatist fighters hardening in their heart? If you listen from the separatist fighter, they will tell you, some will tell you, hardliners will tell you, it is either independent or nothing else. But the people are dying. People are dying. So why can't they accept to negotiate? They say they only negotiate only on the terms of independence. You listen to the government officials, they tell you that we have done a lot to resolve this conflict. We have created disarmament, demobilization. We have created reconstruction. But what has changed? Nothing has changed. Which means that if you have done this, done that, not have changed, why can't you come together to see how the conflict can be resolved? Some think that it's war economy of the war, where people are cashing fat. They don't feel like it should come to an end, and that is why people are angry. But what do you have to say about this? At the comment section, let us know what you think about the situation in Cameroon. Historically, Cameroon was colonized by the Germans, and this was during the German-Douala Treaty of 1884, for 12th of July 1884, where the German-Douala Treaty took place, and other treaties were signed in different areas. Kuva de Kenya, Biya resistance, other treaties were signed. When the First World War broke out, the Germans lost the First World War, and Cameroon was partitioned. A good number, the Northwest and Southwest were given, 1/5 was given to the British as a trusteeship territory, and 4/5 was given to the French as a trusteeship territory. Both were separated by what is called the Millionaire-Simon Agreement. You understand? So the Millionaire-Simon Agreement separated both. Which agreement was that? I take this one, you take this one. So the British took theirs and administered as part of Nigeria. That the North and Southwest were administered, including Adamawa. There are 2 regions in Cameroon that have now permanently joined Nigeria. So they were administered as part of Nigeria. The French administered their own separately. 2 different laws under trusteeship. When the moment for independence, when the United Nations was formed, they moved from trusteeship to mandated territory B. For mandated territory, then there was now time to hand over the territorial integrity or the independence of these 2 nations. The French granted independence of the French Cameroon. The British said you have to get independent either by joining Nigeria or by joining the Republic of Cameroon. And that is how these 2 countries came together agreed under a federal structure. The federal structure they agreed upon till now was the federal structure was abrogated on 20th of May 1972 following a referendum that brought to unity state, and that is where we are today.